All right, welcome everyone to our virtual college fair for the Santa Barbara CALSOAP College Fair. I see our students and our families are joining us, coming in. Just a few reminders before we get started with our session and hear from our great colleges and universities. Your camera and microphone are off, so our reps cannot see or hear you. But if you want to ask any questions, feel free to use the Q&A button on your screen throughout the session if any questions come up. Now, feel free to check our website for other sessions happening in the future. And also, this session is being recorded and will be available online at strivescan.com/CalSOAP, along with the panels that happened yesterday. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our first institution, which is Davidson College.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Megan Olson-Malone. I'm a Senior Assistant Dean of Admission at Davidson College, and I'm actually originally from Southern California, but I've been at Davidson for, I'm entering my 5th year now. So Davidson is located right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So Charlotte is one of the fastest growing cities in the US, also one of the top 2 banking industries in the United States. And we're about 25 minutes north. So actually, Davidson has a similar relationship with Charlotte as Santa Barbara kind of has with Los Angeles. We're a little bit closer to Charlotte than Santa Barbara is to Los Angeles, but we do really like our close proximity to a larger city, while also being outside of the city and having those perks as well. We are also near a large body of water. So 10 minutes, we're in what we call the Lake Norman area, which Lake Norman is a really big lake that spans about 7 cities in the area. And so Davidson owns property on Lake Norman about 10 minutes north of us, where there's a swimming area. It's beachfront property. Students can kayak and paddleboard. There's a club sailing team, a club crew team. So that's also, students really enjoy hanging out there when the weather is nice. Davidson College is a selective liberal arts and science college. So we have about 1,900 students on campus, and our average class size is 15. The largest class you'll have at Davidson is capped at probably about 40. So our professors teach at a small institution because they take the mentorship part of their role really seriously, and they're excited to help students decide what they want to do at Davidson and then what they want to do beyond Davidson as well. So 75% of our professors actually live within walking distance of campus. So it's really common for students to be able to have some of those more formal interactions with professors, like office hours and research opportunities. But also our students have a lot of opportunity to get to know their professors as people. So I don't know a senior who hasn't been invited to a professor's house for dinner. Professors are often seen supporting student events on the weekends. Even sometimes students will pet sit or child sit for professors as well. So there's lots of opportunities to get to know them outside of class. So our philosophy of education at Davidson is really relationships with your professors, relationships with your peers, and then experiential learning as well. We are an undergraduate institution only, so we don't have any graduate programs at Davidson, and that really means all of our resources are focused on your 4 years at Davidson, which also means you'll have graduate level research opportunities as early as your freshman year. So our professors they really rely on our students, and because we don't have graduate students, they rely on our undergraduate students to work in the labs with them, to co-author book chapters and journal articles with them. So there's truly no shortage of research opportunities at Davidson, and oftentimes students are able to do graduate level work as early as their first year. So if that's something you want to prioritize, you will absolutely be able to. Other forms of experiential learning, of course, are job shadow and internship opportunities, international experience at Davidson. 80% of our students will have an international experience. And I think because we're a small institution, we put a lot of our funding towards those experiential learning opportunities. So students, there's a lot of funding for students to do an unpaid or low paying internship where you can apply for and help cover the cost of of living in a new place to complete that internship. Or students can do service projects internationally, research projects internationally. You can explore spiritual traditions in and outside of your own faith tradition. And there's lots of different pockets of funding to help you explore what you're really curious about on campus. We are also a residential campus, so students live on campus all 4 years and housing is guaranteed. And because students are living on campus, the fun is really happening on campus. So just to give you an idea of demographics, about 80% of our student body comes from outside of North Carolina and 60% of our student body comes from outside of the Southeast. So most students that are on campus are from out of state. So there's over 200 student organizations for students to get involved in, and social justice clubs, cultural clubs, over 30 clubs dedicated to community service, which is an important part of being a Davidson student, a cappella groups, dance groups, so lots of things. And I would say Davidson is a place that because we're a small community, students are involved in lots of different types of things. So we might have someone who's captain of our swim team who is also president of our improv club, or I know there was a football player senior year that joined dance ensemble with no dance experience. So I think Davidson students often are really curious about different things and often find themselves in things they wouldn't have expected to be involved in. We are also one of those smallest Division I athletic schools in the country, which creates a really fun school spirit dynamic because you're not just cheering for someone you've seen on ESPN2 once, but you're cheering for a classmate, a friend, somebody that you know. So that definitely boosts school spirit on campus. And one of the most important things I would want you to know about Davidson is the honor code that we have on campus. So every student signs an honor code. It's one of the last things you do before you start academic classes. It's a ceremony where students get dressed up and your signatures are hanging in the main academic building on campus. And the honor code basically states that you won't lie, cheat, or steal on campus, and you won't tolerate lying, cheating, or stealing as well. And we have a student-run honor council that oversees the entire process. So it's not faculty or staff that oversee it, but it creates this instant trust between students and between faculty and students, where everyone knows that each student is working just as hard as one another. So, and it creates a lot of freedoms on campus as well. I would say one of the biggest freedoms that it creates is we have self-scheduled final exams. So I am not a morning person, so I would not schedule my exams in the morning, or you can schedule your most difficult exam for later in the week. You can also get it over with early on in the week. It's totally up to you so that the test is a true representation of what you know. A lot of our professors will also do unproctored exams. So it reduces test anxiety. You can take it on your own time. So that's also a really great benefit of the honor code as well. And if you have any questions about Davidson, feel free to enter those questions in the Q&A function.
All right, next up we have CSU Channel Islands.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Ziskin, and I am the program rep for Cal State University Channel Islands. Can you see my screen?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so this evening I'm going to talk to you about our degree completion programs, specifically the BA Psychology and the BS Business Online. I'm also mentioning our 2 nursing programs because they are very popular with the Santa Barbara City College students. But I am the program rep for the Psychology and Business Online. So the BA Psychology program, it's based out of our Goleta campus, and for fall 2022, it's going to be a hybrid. So it'll be about 50% online and 50% in person. It is a cohort model. So that means you will start and end the program with your cohort. And it's also a roadmap model. So upon admission, you will receive a roadmap that will map out all of the courses that you will need to take semester to semester, which really helps to take away the stress of trying to figure out which courses that you want to take or need to take. And as you can see here, here are the core courses. It's a general psychology program. So it touches upon all of the different aspects of psychology, such as social and clinical, behavioral, and so on. All right, the admission requirements for psychology. So you need a GPA of 2.0 or better. You need the golden 4, which is oral communication, English, critical thinking, and quantitative reasoning. The mandatory prereqs are intro to psych and statistics, and those must be completed by July of 2022 for fall admission. Now, developmental psychology, you can take it concurrently in the fall semester, but we do highly encourage you to take it beforehand if possible. All right, so now on to BS Business Online. So it's a 100% online course, and just like psychology, it is also a cohort model, and with a roadmap. So for an easy look ahead to what courses you will need, you can complete it in about 16 months if you follow the roadmap. And like psychology, it is a general business degree, so it touches upon all aspects of business. Now, for both of these programs, that's great if you're looking to go on to grad school, because you will kind of have a well-rounded sense of that program, as well as going into the field. So as you see here, it touches upon management and finance and marketing and so on. So the admission requirements for BS Business are very similar to psychology. You need a GPA of 2.0 or higher, 60 semester units, and the golden 4. And now the program requirements are the dreaded calculus, and that is one that you must have completed prior to admission. And as you see down below, statistics, computer literacy, macro and microeconomics, financial accounting, and managerial accounting. The one that you can take concurrently is business law. You can take it, if you enter in the spring, you can take it as late as the following fall. But again, we highly recommend you take it prior to admission. Okay, so to apply to Cal State Channel Islands, for spring admission, it's for BS Business Online only, and we are currently in the application cycle, which ends on January 15th. And for fall admission, it's for psychology and BS Business, and you have until June 1st to apply for those programs. And the intent to enroll deadline, it's due within 20 days from receipt of all official transcripts. So if you were to apply today and get admitted, you would have 20 days from that time to give your intent. You can apply at Cal State Online, and it's $70 application fee. But we do provide application waivers. So if that's something you would be interested in, please, you can feel free to reach out to me and I can discuss that with you. And then back to nursing, they have a summer cohort and their application cycle is from February 1st through March 22nd. All right, so contact. So if you are interested in either psychology or business, you can feel free to reach out to myself. You can take a picture of this screen here so you can have all the contact information. You can also reach out to one of our coaches at extcoach@csuci.edu. And then for our nursing programs, for the Goleta BSN program, there's the email for that. And then our ADN to BSN program on the Camarillo campus, there's the email for that. And wow, I feel like I ended early. So that's all for me.
All right, up next we have Chapman University.
Awesome. All right, so I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, pleasure to meet everyone. Glad that you were able to come on out. My name is Ed Mejia. I'm a senior admission counselor at Chapman University. So I'll go ahead and give a little bit of a breakdown in terms for kind of who we are, what we're all about. And so I'll start off with our location. We're located in the city of Orange. So we're right next to Anaheim and Orange County. So just to kind of give you an idea, you can see kind of what are some of our closest landmarks. We're not too far from the beach, not as well far from LA as well. Angel Stadium is about 10 minutes away, Disneyland about 15. So not too bad for students to be able to take a break. But I think what's also important to kind of keep in mind here is the fact that we're caught in between LA County and Orange County. So some of the most important economies within the United States. So that means a lot for internship jobs when it comes to students be able to do that during their kind of pre-professional development and then as well once they graduate. To kind of discuss a little bit in terms for kind of some of the ways that Chapman is growing, but making sure we stay true to who we are. We're a mid-sized university, so you can see that our undergraduate population is about 7,500. So that means that for yourself, average classroom size is about 24. So we want to make sure that you have that high accessibility between you and connecting with your professors. And then in terms for what we can be able to offer you, we have a little bit over 120 academic programs. So since we do have that liberal arts curriculum as our foundation, you have that flexibility to be able to decide if you want to do a major with a minor, double major, double minor. You can be able to kind of decide that for yourself. And for us, we want to be able to have our students be global citizens. So that means on our campus, being able to have students from different places. You can see 48 states, 4 territories, 79 countries, but then as well encouraging our students to go study abroad. You can see a little bit over half of our students go study abroad at least once during their college career through some of the multiple offerings that we have. Now, we want to be able to have our students really kind of get the most out of their college experience and really be able to kind of utilize the area that is around them. And as I was kind of mentioning, Chapman is right now growing at a really great rate. And so you can be able to kind of see that, especially in terms for where we've been able to see some of our recent grads be located. So we always tell students, before you think to that point, always think Chapman first. Always think about kind of laying that foundation and establishing your contacts, because that's working with the Career Center, but also working with your professors. They're coming from these industries, these fields, and so they want to be able to provide that insight, that perspective for you to be successful as you continue on. And I think how we always want to be able to kind of say, hey, what makes a Chapman student successful? It's through being engaged and involved through some of the clubs and organizations that are available. We have a little bit over close to 200 clubs and programs at Chapman, so that I always say it's a little bit of a spectrum. You can be involved in kind of some of the more fun aspects of maybe Spike Ball Club, Pokemon Club, the surfing club, but there's also other sides where it's maybe being involved in civic engagement, being involved in Greek life, or through student government, volunteer work. So we want to be able to make sure that students can be able to find their community available at Chapman. And so that's always something that we encourage them to do, is kind of step outside that comfort zone and be able to connect with different students on campus. And just to kind of go back in terms for how we're able to really showcase that we are investing in our students and making sure that our students are well prepared as they head into their careers. You can see in terms for kind of how we're establishing new facilities, new areas, new equipment and technology for our students to be able to utilize. And so that could be, for example, our dance center that's going to be up within the next year, our tech center for more of our STEM related fields. You can see that this was completed recently, especially with our engineering wing just being up by August. So I think we want to always make sure that you have everything at your disposal when it comes to making sure that as you head into that career, as you transition into your new field, you can be familiar and always consider yourself a strong applicant. Now, just final things to go over. This is to give you an idea in terms of what our applicant pool looks like. We have a deadline that is coming up, which is in January 15th, so you can be able to get your application in. 60% admission rate, and we have a GPA average admitted for students was about 3.8. That was also weighted GPA. And you can see about 74% of our student body apply test optional. So you can decide if you want to submit test scores or not. You won't be penalized. That pretty much wraps up in terms for kind of at least what I can be able to talk within this time frame. But you can always follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and as well TikTok. And then as well for myself, I'm actually your representative. So if you have any questions moving forward, you can always feel free to reach out. I'll always be more than happy to connect with you and be able to kind of help throughout your college application process. So with that, just want to say thank you so much and hope you have a great rest of your night.
All right, up next we have Prescott College.
Thank you so much. So my name is Brianna. I'm an admissions counselor at Prescott College. Prescott is located in northern Arizona. We're about an hour and a half from Flagstaff, Arizona, an hour and a half north of Phoenix. So we're surrounded by forest land, and it's a really beautiful little town. Just going over our degree programs. So one of our hallmark degree programs we offer is adventure education. So that is a bachelor's degree. That is for that student that wants to go into the Forest Service, Park Service, maybe own their own outfitting guiding service. So you're taking classes in kayaking, backpacking, wilderness first response, rock climbing, etc. We also offer arts and humanities, arts and letters, education pathways. So there's a variety of licensure pathways you can go into to be licensed in any one of the United States. We have a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, Human Development and Psychology. This one's quite interesting, interdisciplinary studies. That is where you can create your own major. I recently had a student go into that major because he was looking for the cultural history of tattoo art, which is a super unique program he couldn't find anywhere, and he was able to create that with us because we can personalize any of our degree programs. So more on that in a second. We also offer social justice studies, sustainable community development, sustainable food systems, and sustainability management. So some of our degree basics. So you have your 60 credit competence, which is your major, 30 credit breadth, which is your minor, and a 30 credit liberal arts breadth, which you might know as your GEs. We do have an online option. So if you don't want to be on campus, you can do this as well. So there's no residency requirements, and you can be completely wherever you are in the United States or internationally to complete your degree. And again, you can personalize any of our degree programs. So that means you can also create your own classes called independent study and mentored study. Independent study is where you come up with your own syllabus. Of course, this is all done with advice and approval of your faculty advisor. So you come up with the name of the class, supporting materials. Is there a book that interests you, a research paper? What outcome do you want to do? Do you want to have an essay, a project? We don't do a lot of tests at Prescott College. We're very project-based experiential education. So you won't find a lot of multiple choice question tests here. And then we also offer mentored study. So if there is someone in your field of study willing to mentor you, they do not have to be a teacher. They just have to work in the field, have experience, and that can fulfill course credit. So if you are transferring, and if you're a transfer student or thinking about it, we take up to 90 transfer credits as long as they're 100 level and above, and you have a C- or higher, and that is super generous. And then we also offer prior learning assessments. So if you have any work or life experience, we can turn that into coursework, and that could fulfill your major requirements. We offer an accelerated master's program as well. So the last term, up to 15 credits of your bachelor's degree can essentially be double counted for the first term of your master's degree, not only saving you 6 months of time in a semester, but also you're only being charged the undergraduate tuition rate. So we have a lot of study abroad programs. We have a Kenya campus, we have a Mexico campus, and then we also have a couple of partnership institutions in Norway and Costa Rica. And then domestically, we offer a partnership called Eco League, and there are several universities and colleges that we've partnered with where you can study with them at the Prescott College tuition rate. So about us, you can apply through Common App or a regular application on our website. We have an essay that's 2 to 3 pages just about you, your goals, why you feel like will work for you, official transcripts, and a reference. And we are also test optional. So some start dates that we offer, we have our spring term, which starts in January. You'd want to finish your application like now for that term. We also have a summer program and a fall term as well. So that is it for me. Thank you so much.
All right, up next, we have University of Southern California.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Camille Bradshaw. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. And I work with everyone in the Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. So hopefully that's all of you in the room. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk about some of the opportunities across USC. Also, if you have your cell phone, I also included this little QR link at the end. I can go ahead and post it into the chat as well for everyone to see. If you want to get onto our email list and learn a little bit more about USC, you can do so through that link there. But just some information about USC in general. Sorry about that. We are considered a large private research university located in Los Angeles, California. Because we are a large school, there's actually almost 50,000 students across the university. Less than half of those students are undergraduates, however. And all of the photos that you see in our promotional materials, all the photos that are in this little slideshow that I put together, even the photo behind me, those are all of our main campus where 99.9% of our undergraduates courses are offered. So for the vast majority of the classes that you're going to be in, you're going to be surrounded by other undergraduates. Some more numbers, if that helps you out. Student to faculty ratio is 8:1, and we have an average class size of 26. So though really when you're on our campus, it feels like a very large institution, we tend to find that within the classrooms themselves, it really feels more like almost like a small liberal arts college within the class itself. And the student to faculty ratio, that's probably important to you because getting to know professors is one of the best parts about college in general, because those are hopefully going to be the people that will eventually mentor you or be references for grad school or for jobs in the future. And so having a good relationship with your professor is such an amazing opportunity. Like I mentioned before, I'll touch briefly on these different topics, but I tend to find that these are the things that make a USC education so unique. Up first is the interdisciplinary studies, which is really this chance to choose what it is that you're passionate about, what you want to study. USC has more than 150 majors and 250 minors across 17 different schools that make up USC. And so that's a lot of things to choose from. If you have a couple of things that you're really passionate about in high school, you can definitely translate that into a major and minor or a double major across those various schools. So you can definitely pursue a double major in business and the Thornton School of Music, or within English and studying engineering. So you're definitely able to pursue a double major or majors and minors. In terms of the global perspective, I mean, up here as well on this little slide is we are located in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is such a global hub, but so is USC. More than 14% of our undergraduate population is made up of international students. So you have that rich dialogue in your classes. But if you are a domestic student, which I assume many of you are coming from the Santa Barbara area, you do have the chance to go abroad in some capacity. In fact, more than 3/4 of our students will have traveled abroad in some capacity with USC by the time that you graduate. Definitely the traditional route is through a study abroad option, but we also offer internships abroad, research abroad, and volunteering abroad. I briefly mentioned research there. We are considered a research institution. I think a lot of times when students think of research, you immediately think of, someone mixing chemicals together or looking under a microscope. And definitely things within the STEM field, the hard sciences, are popular routes to take within research. But the benefit of research in general is that you get to test out the subject that you're interested in pursuing. That kind of goes hand in hand with campus life as well. And as we look at this beautiful photo of campus, you can see a little bit of some of the different parts of USC's campus. I like to mention in terms of campus life, we have more than 1,000 different clubs across USC. So really anything that you might be involved in your high school, you can continue to do in college. That's everything from Greek life to religious and political life, volunteering, community service across Los Angeles, and even just participating in things like intramural sports. The last thing I'll talk about is the Trojan family, which is USC's alumni network. You're admitted into the Trojan family as soon as you're admitted into USC. And really, these are just the people that are looking out for you, both professionally and personally, wherever you end up. And I think that's a huge benefit if you're hoping to stick around Los Angeles, stick around Southern California. You want people that are looking out for you and that had similar experiences during their time at USC. And also, I mean, saving the best for last, Los Angeles is such an exceptional city to be a student within. You really get this chance to explore not just Los Angeles, but all of Southern California in your 4 years. We're located just about 2 miles away from downtown LA. It would take you 15 minutes on the Expo Line train to get into downtown Los Angeles, the edge of which is the Staples Center in LA Live, and take you about 45 minutes on the Expo Line train to get all the way into Santa Monica. So a little bit about Los Angeles. I'll touch briefly on the application process. Like I mentioned before, I do work with everyone in the room. If you're attending high school in the Santa Barbara area, I'll be kind of your go-to person throughout this process. I have my contact information on the last slide of this. But I point that out because we tend to find that that helps in our holistic review process, just so that you have someone that you can really go to if you have any questions about our process. I also have worked with the Santa Barbara area for a couple of years now, so I'm becoming much more aware of what's going on in terms of the curriculum available at your high school or what's going on in the community. And we tend to find that that's pretty helpful. The other piece of this application, our motto kind of that we think about in terms of reviewing applications, we don't have any minimums or cutoffs. That in this year especially relates in almost entirely to the transcript, to the classes that you're taking and the grades that you receive in them. We absolutely are considering every single class that you've taken, looking at the grades that you received in those classes and taking that into consideration. We understand that some students had a tough start to high school, and so maybe your GPA is slightly lower than our averages. I didn't mention so much the SAT and ACT because, like many of my peers that have just gone before me, USC continues to be test optional and will be at least through the year 2023. After that, we're not sure yet. We'll let you know when the Board of Trustees has made a decision on if we're continuing to be test optional after 2023. But for now, you don't have to submit test scores to USC. And then the very last thing I'll talk about briefly is that USC does have 2 deadlines. The first of which, if you're a senior in the room, feels like it's coming up very soon. Our first deadline is December 1. That is the final deadline to be considered for many talent-based majors, as well as our scholarship consideration. Our final deadline is January 15th, and though there is an earlier deadline, that's not considered early action or early decision. And like I mentioned, if you want to fill out that form, you can do so right under there under the QR code. And if you'd like to email me, you can go ahead and do that there. I'll be looking at the Q&A too. So if you do have a question for me, please feel free to shoot me a question over there. Thank you so much.
All right, and last but not least, we have Design Institute of San Diego.
Hey, thank you, Melissa. Let me share my screen real quick. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Perfect. Awesome. So my name is Andrea. I am an admission representative at Design Institute of San Diego. A little bit about Design Institute. We are located in Miramar. So if you guys know La Jolla, we're just about 10 minutes east of there in the design district of San Diego. So really close to the beach. We're in a great part of town and we are all here for interior design. So I will just go over some of the highlights about DI. If you've loved interior design, Design Institute is the place to go. We've been in San Diego for about 44 years and we are a very tight-knit community. We're all very creative, collaborative, and our interior design program is a direct path to a great career in interior design. So like I said, we were founded in 1977. We offer both a bachelor's degree as well as a master's degree in interior design. We are WASC and CETA accredited. So CETA accreditation is super important. If any of you out there are interested in being professional interior designers, going to a CETA accredited program is a must. And a lot goes into it. So it's really, really great. We also have a lot of flexible schedules, full-time, part-time, as well as evening options. So real quick, I will go over some student outcomes. We just like to, see where students are going and keep track of everything regarding placement rate. So we have an 84% placement rate, which is really great. Our students are awesome. They're all, able to secure jobs without a problem. Over here, you can see kind of a pie chart and some of the most popular fields our graduates go into. first being residential and then commercial. Hospitality is also really big as well. So a little bit about campus life. We are very student focused with intimate classroom settings. You'll never be in a classroom bigger than with 22 students. So average class size range from 15 to 22. We have 2 interior design chapters on campus, IIAD and ASID, which are really great just to get involved in industry, meet industry professionals as well, and other design students. We are very studio based, so very experiential. You will very rarely have an exam. Your classes are a lot of fun. You'll be out in the industry, visiting manufacturers, working on real projects. And yeah, right here, this is a picture of a student in our materials lab. So our faculty is incredible. They are all professionals in the field. So you'll be learning from real interior designers, real architects, and getting that networking right out the get-go. So it's really, really great. In the 3rd year of the program, you will have a required externship. This is a really great program that we have where students are working at real firms and working on real projects and really getting their, dipping their toes in the water and seeing what type of design they really love. And a lot of students continue working with their firm for the rest of the time, just part-time. And then once they graduate, a lot of students get offered jobs this way. So it's really, really great. Here's a brief overview of the curriculum. So it's a traditional 4-year program. And in the 3rd year, you can see in the 2nd semester, that's where the externship is. Another really cool thing about our curriculum is that you are going in as an interior design major and taking design classes right at the start. So those GEs are woven in throughout and they are all design related. So in world literature, you're going to be writing and reading about different designers throughout history and all across the world. So sort of fun. Real quick about the application, you will have 2 essays, your official high school transcripts, and 2 references. And then that $25 application fee will be credited to your tuition if you're accepted. And our application is online, so it's really quick to fill out. A quick note about financial aid. Our director of financial aid is amazing and she works with all of our students one-on-one. She's been at DI for about 25 years. So she's awesome and here to help you. You will be filling out a FAFSA after you submit your application and work with Jackie along the way. There's also a little bit here about some financial aid options. We are a yellow ribbon school. So if any of your parents are in the military, we are military friendly. And there's some more information about Pell Grants, scholarships, all of that. And some more about financial planning, which is good to, keep in mind. And then if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. We do campus tours and you can sign up online or send me an email and I can show you our design studios, materials labs, and the whole campus. So yeah. I think that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat box and I will answer them. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to ask all of our reps to turn on their cameras and we're going to go around in the same order that we just presented in, but I have a question to pose at the group at large. And my question for today is, what is your best piece of advice that you have for students going through the college search process? And we're going to go in the same order, starting with Davidson College.
Yeah, I think students get stressed about the admission process. And so I think remembering that there are so many colleges across the United States and around the world, and knowing that there are probably quite a few schools that would be a really good fit for you. And so thinking about keeping an open mind in the college search process and learning from different types of colleges and keeping in mind how do you learn best. During COVID, I think students have been learn to really reflect on what tools they want in their learning environments and what tools they need to be successful. So really thinking about those questions. What do you want in your future college community? What type of community do you want to be challenged by in your next step? And really talking to the people that you would be spending most of your time with on campus. And that is professors and current students. All of us are resources for you. We want to help you get to know our colleges, but we're all kind of professional generalists. We know a little bit about everything. And so we want to connect you as well to the people you'd be spending most of your time with. And I think that that's the best way to get to know an institution.
Hi. So, we live in a very competitive world. So what I recommend is do whatever you can to set yourself apart. So if that means achieving your education goals, if college is the route you want to take, then pursue it, because time goes on and it's going to go on, it's going to march on no matter what. And if you don't do what you need to do, you might regret it, right? But if you at least try and to set yourself apart, then good things can happen.
My piece of advice would be to really think about post-graduation, envision where you want to be as far as a career, and then work backwards. What school works for you for that major, for your end goals, for your career goals. And I think some students lose sight of that. So definitely think about where you want to be career-wise post-graduation.
I think we all understand that sometimes college applications, the process can sometimes be stressful and confusing. So I always tell students, hey, there are individuals at multiple universities across the country that want to help you, that want to support you. So take ownership, being able to connect with your representative, to ask questions so that you feel confident as you go throughout the process, so that you can be able to make sure that you're not filling in blanks, that you're not questioning things that you might be doing. So be able to really establish that connection with admission representatives of the schools that you're taking a look at.
My best advice is definitely that this is a mutual decision process. Certainly, we're looking for students at our schools that are going to be a good fit at USC, at Chapman, Davidson, etc. But you should also be looking at schools that are, fitting what you're interested in pursuing in college. And there's no wrong or silly answer in that too. If something's important to you, put it on the list and make sure that the schools that you're applying to have that thing at it. And it really can be anything. Make sure it's the things that you want to, and you're not, being overly influenced by a counselor or your sibling or anyone else. It's the things that are important to you.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone had great things to say, and what Camille said, I totally agree. Like, we see a lot of students that come from other careers and later on realize that they've always loved interior design. And so if it's something that you're interested in now, if you watch HGTV, if you walk into a cool hotel and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing, and your friends are like, what are you talking about? If being creative and you're not really sure how to get there is sounds like you and you can relate to that, then my best piece of advice is to just follow what you're passionate about, whatever that may be, and to don't go with the crowd and try and do something that you can see yourself doing in the future. And I know it's hard, and we've all been where you've been, so don't be a stranger. We're here to help you. And yeah, definitely just reach out, ask a lot of questions. And yeah.
Awesome. It's always great to hear from our representatives. They are here to help you. So reach out to them, ask them questions, use them as your resource through your process. But I just want to share some final things before we end our session today. Thank you everyone for joining us, our students, our families, and also our college representatives. A few things before we end, like I mentioned, a quick survey for our attendees will pop up after you close the window out. 5 questions on some feedback for our session. And then also this recording will be available So sorry about that. This recording will be available at strivescan.com/CalSOAP. So you can refer back to it if you missed anything, also other sessions as well. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have a really good rest of your week. Good night, everyone.